In this video, I'd like to discuss prime factorization. Now, prime factorization is a way of expressing a composite number as a product of its prime numbers. Now, in my previous video, we learned that a prime number is a natural number greater than 1, and it has exactly 2 factors, which means it's only divisible by the number itself and 1, and that a composite number is also a natural number greater than 1. But unlike prime numbers, a composite number is divisible by a number other than itself and 1, which means it has more than 2 factors. Now, if you'd like to watch my video tutorial on the difference between prime and composite numbers first, you can find the link to the video in the description box below. Now, again, prime factorization is a way of expressing a composite number as a product of its prime numbers. For example, let's say we have the composite number 6. Well, what prime numbers are multiplied to equal 6? Well, that would be prime number 2 multiplied by prime number 3. And again, prime factorization is a way of expressing a composite number as a product of its prime numbers. So this means that 2 multiplied by 3 is the prime factorization of the composite number 6. So, now that we understand what prime factorization is, I'd like to show you a method for finding the prime factorization of a composite number. So, I'll use the number 28 for this example. Now, we need to break down the number 28 into prime factors, and to do that, I'm going to use a factor tree. Now, a factor tree is a diagram that's used to find all of the factors of a number. So, as we break down the number 28 into prime factors, if the factor is a composite number, we need to draw branches from that number so that we can continue factoring that number. And if the factor is a prime factor, we should circle it since it's part of the prime factorization of 28. So first, what are 2 factors of 28 that can be multiplied to equal 28? Well, what about 2 multiplied by 14? Both numbers are factors of 28, and both numbers multiplied by each other equals 28. Now, maybe you were thinking of 2 different factors of 28. Maybe you were thinking 4 multiplied by 7. If so, just hold that thought and we'll come back to that later and break down those numbers into prime factors to see if the prime factorization of 28 will be different. So, back to the factors 2 and 14. Now remember, we're breaking down the number 28 into prime factors. So we need to collect every factor that we find of 28 that is a prime number. So far, we have 2 factors. Well, we know that 2 is a prime number since 2 can only be divided by itself and 1. And we know that 14 is a composite number since it can be divided by more than the number itself and 1. Now remember, if it's a composite number, we need to draw branches from that number so that we can continue factoring it. And if it's a prime number, we should circle it since it's a part of the prime factorization of 28. Okay, let's continue breaking down the number 28 into prime factors. So next, what are 2 factors of 14 that can be multiplied to equal 14? Well, that will be 2 multiplied by 7. Now, we know that 2 is a prime number since 2 can only be divided by itself and 1. And we know that 7 is also a prime number since 7 can only be divided by itself and 1. So let's circle these factors. And now, since all of the remaining factors on the tree diagram are prime numbers, this means that we've collected all of the prime factors that are to be multiplied to equal 28. So the prime factorization of 28 is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 7. Now, if you were thinking to multiply 4 by 7 in the beginning, let's break down these numbers into prime factors to see if the prime factorization of 28 will be different. Well, we know that 4 is a composite number since it can be divided by more than the number itself in 1, and that 7 is a prime number since it can be divided only by itself in 1. So let's draw branches from the composite number and circle the prime number. And next, what are two factors of 4 that can be multiplied to equal 4? Well, of course, that would be 2 multiplied by 2. And we know that 2 is a prime number, so we should circle these. And as you can see, all of the remaining factors on our tree haven't changed. So the prime factorization of 28 is still 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 7. And the same is true for all composite numbers. No matter what factors you choose to multiply, the end result will always be the same, since every composite number can only have one prime factorization. If you like this video, please subscribe to Mr. McLean Math. And also, be sure to click all so that you get notifications when new math videos are uploaded. Thank you for watching.